Oh my gosh, Patrick, what's going on? There's no chat. There's no video. What's happening? It's the vibe, okay? We'll see. There is a minor obligation that I must attend sometime within now and the next 2 hours, hopefully. Um, yes. What am I doing today? I don't know. We just had a new moon Sagittarius. I feel like it'll be kind of self-ready today, I guess. Probably for the most part. And I feel like within the past 24-ish hours, maybe it's as the ever-looming threat of my vacation coming to an end as it approaches the end. Um, it's just like seeing stuff out in the world, and it's not that I haven't. It just feels like it's like, I don't know, a resurgence of like, hey, this is what's going on out there. But anyway, I do want to check and see the transits because I feel like Mars, I feel like enjoying would be the wrong word to use, but I'm not hating Mercury retrograde, um, Mars and Leo about to retrograde if it hasn't already. Y'all know I like barely keep up with the transits now, especially compared to before. I get all my astro news secondhand from whatever is trending, I guess. Mars, 6 degrees. It's not even because I was like, oh, Mars is going to be conjuncting my. Oh, Mars is conjuncting. No, it's trining the North Node. So a few days ago, maybe, there is a grand fire trine between the Sun in Sagittarius, Mars in Leo, and the North Node in Aries. Yeah, because my Chiron is at 19 degrees, so it's still a ways away. I don't know what it is. I feel like I haven't been necessarily like emotional this past few days. I feel like I've been very retrospective, I guess you could say. And this Chiron and emotional. Like we went to go see Moana 2. It's been a combination of things. It's like I've been reflective, retrospective. It's the ever looming threat of my vacation coming to an end and other things that I'm just like, wow, you know? Like we went to go see Moana 2 and the movie barely even started and I was already emotional. But I feel like I was emotional in Moana 2 because you saw her journey and her people's journey in the first movie. And so to see them where they were to where they are at the beginning of the movie, it's just like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? But I feel like personally, I'm kind of excited. Or the reason why I don't hate this Mars and Leo pre retrograde, whatever, is because with my Chiron in Leo, it's been an opportunity to see, feel, witness, experience, remind myself, notice that I'm not who I used to be. And that the darkest of darkness of yesterday, like I'm now living, and it's not nearly as dark as I had feared that it would be. Um, it's like really sort of settling in now, probably because I'm the most primed and poised and desiring to relocate right now that I have been. Um, that I'm actually like putting forth efforts. And I remember I shared before, like the first time I was here, what, November 2018, it was like this environment or situation that was leagues above my experience, that lived in, or at least bordered upon, the darkest of darkness. And I guess when I say the darkest of darkness, for me, there was a whole life that I couldn't even imagine myself living because of the circumstances that I was in. And to even think about it would like shut me down, like depressive spiral, dark night, the works. And excuse me, I had my darkest night a few weeks before I came the first time. It was like mid to late October 2018. November 2018 is when I was like, okay, we got to do some work, buddy, because I don't know how many more of these we got left in us. Um, and then it was like a week and a half after I started meditating and stuff that I came. And it was like this completely different, I guess for me then, it was beyond life on the other side of the darkness that I had experienced or feared. But because I had already begun my journey, I realized I was like, this could be my life if I wanted it. At the time, I was like, I don't think I want to work that hard. I don't. But again, because life be life and I be living it, um, I ended up doing the work kind of anyway. And so again, cue Mars in the same sign as my Chiron in Leo. And it's like all the work that I knew I needed to do, everything, it's like it's been done. Um, so let me see, I'm just going to November. I think the 18th is when I came. Let me just look at the calendar. I know I was here the week of. Oh, girl. Why is this wrong? The week of Thanksgiving 2018. Because my friend was like, I'm going to visit my brother in London. If you want to come, I was like, yes, sir. Sign me up. So, yeah, we probably came the 18th to the 24th. We'll look at the 20th, November 20th, 2018, or the 21st. I was in the home for a few days. Ooh, it wasn't until like Wednesday that I was like, okay, like let's do something. Cause I was just like jet lagged and all kinds of stuff. Jet lagged, adjusting. This is probably Central Time, so we'll call it. Yeah. That works. That works. Sure. Let's change it. Let's rearrange it. Sun was 29 degrees Scorpio. Oh, so the sun. It was the from the end of Scorpio season into the beginning of Sag season. The moon was in Leo on the 21st. Mars was in Leo too. Wow. Now, Mars, to my knowledge, isn't necessarily exactly where it is. Well, I guess this was also like weeks ago. So, where Mars is now, Mars was there when I first came in 2018. Hold up. Scratch that. Hold up. Wait. Disregard all of that. Disregard all of that. I forgot to change the year. LOL. I was like, hold up. North Node in Aries? No. Here we go. November 21st, 2018. Thank you. So, still, the sun was. The sun was Scorpio to, I mean, it's the dates, right? Around November 21st, 22nd is when, you go, Sagittarius season begins. Mercury was in Sagittarius, not surprising. Venus in Libra, Mars in Pisces, Jupiter in Sag, Uranus in Aries, Saturn in Capricorn, Neptune in Pisces, Pluto in Capricorn, North Node Cancer. I was like, hold up. I'm glad I caught that North Node because otherwise I wouldn't have swim with it. So Leo was empty. I mean, maybe there could have been like a minor body or something. I love how they have Caris, Pallas, and Juno now. What are you talking about? I don't know if this is just going to be a rambly, ranty, I'll get to pulling cards for the new moon at some point video. Here we go. Are there aspects? Declinations. No, there are no aspects. Well, I guess all the aspects are here. Ooh. It looks like there's a grand water trine, actually. The sun in Scorpio, North Node Cancer, and Chiron in Pisces. It was a grand water trine between the North Node, Chiron, and the sun. See, there's that Chiron. Because I'm using the Astro Matrix app because I traded my iPhone in for Android and I don't have Time Nomad on Android. It's fine. And so I'm looking at that big old blue triangle. And I'm like, whoa, like there's a grand trine there. It looks like there's a lot more red than blue. So a lot more oppositions and squares than trines and sextiles. But there it is right there. Between the sun, the North Node, and Chiron. And that's interesting, again, because I had the feeling, I was like, if I want to be here, I could be here. But I know that it'll take a lot of work, and I don't know if I feel like doing that work. What's that? 10th house, second house, and sixth house at the time of that I put in here. Anyway. That's kind of why I'm sort of digging Chiron or Mars in Leo. Because I got Chiron in Leo, and it's like groovy, you know what I mean? The dentist, preventative care, future smiles. Oh my gosh, you see that? Future smiles. Yeah, with the lake, reflective shores, tranquility awaits. Tranquility awaits and future smiles. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. And then the rooftop. Peace above chaos. Tranquility awaits, peace above chaos, future smiles. Very accurate. And again, that's just like, I don't know, maybe I've come to realize that's how it is for me. Again, over here, Mars to me, and when I see it more often than not, versus what I hear about Mars, it's like different. because Mars has gone through a whole journey of, you could say, learning to harness its chaotic energy. Um, but I would probably phrase it as something closer to like finding healthy outlets for its creative energy, or finding places where it can like dump energy, right? So it's like it can give as much energy to a situation as is needed, and then if there's an excess of energy, it can go and like go to like roller derby or play hockey or whatever. I just saw like somebody shared a hockey fight on their Snapchat. One of my friends, it was on his story, and the referees were just letting them fight. I'm like, if this were any other sport, and I know hockey, like you kind of want to see a fight or whatever. I've heard. I don't personally know, uh, but they're fighting, and the referees are just like standing there, and I'm like, aren't this? And the crowd is like going wild. Everybody's cheering, and I'm like, aren't the referees supposed to like be breaking this up? Like, what is happening? It's like, not in this sport, not in this game. No, violence and fighting is encouraged. The people crave the Coliseum. Anyway, I didn't even get to see the Coliseum. I could have went to see the Coliseum. I decided not to. Um, there are a few places that I plan on going back to, and I mean, I guess that's kind of what I did here. Is that my MO? Because the first time I came to London, like I said, I didn't I didn't leave the place until Wednesday, which was like a few days before I was supposed to leave. Um, Even now, there are still a few things that I want to see that I haven't seen, but I'm like, I'll just save them for another trip, another day. I did that when I went to India. I did that in Rome. And maybe that's because, again, speaking to the realization, I guess, that I had 6 years ago, that like, if I want to come here again, I can. And so I don't have to force myself to like do everything, or I don't have to feel pressured to do everything, because I'm not necessarily always a do everything type of person. I don't have to change my pace when I can just revisit the place. You know what I mean? So anyway, that is that. Ooh, devil at the bottom with the five of wands behind it. And then the queen of pentacles behind that. Cutting to the three of pentacles. So, ooh, the devil and the fool. What an interesting, what's behind the fool? The knight of swords. So you got the knight of swords behind the fool, and then you have the five of wands behind the devil. I feel like with these two, the devil is symbolizing feeling like patterns, things that we already know, things that we believe to be true, how we know the world to work, etc. And when we hold so tightly to what we already know or believe to be true, we can be harder to convince of other things, even if those other things are greater, you could say, truths, things that are more true situationally, globally, universally than what we already believe to be true. And so with the five of wands, it's like new information has to compete with what it is that we already know and believe. But on the side of the fool, with the knight of swords behind it and the six of cups behind that, it's like the fool doesn't need as much convincing. And so the fool can leap where the devil is bound. Anyway, cool. All of these are upright as of now. I kind of want to do like a path and a hidden path. I feel like in these places there have been quite a few of those. Also, I remember Ten of Pentacles now at the bottom. Cool. Under the Ten of Pentacles is the Two of Swords. Is the Eight of Cups. Two of Swords, Eight of Cups. Again, the Eight of Cups, especially as a card of journeying, but also as a card we saw, the Eight of Cups was an energy, part of the energy that transitioned between Libra season and Scorpio season. And it moved before a tower came. So, like with the Devil and the Five of Wands, that's that argument inside the tower until like the tower comes down on top of the people who are arguing in the tower. The Fool in that Knight of Swords is like, somebody said that this tower is about to go down. I trust them. Even if it's not about to go down, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather be, not buried under the rubble of the tower. And so the Fool gets up and goes, just like the Eight of Cups. Just like the Six of Swords, Ace of Swords, Seven of Swords, just like the Fool had also left out of a tower before the tower happened. And in both the Eight of Cups and the Two of Swords, you see this moon. Right? So that's like intuitively, even if the proof isn't there, even if there is a valid argument to be had, there's just some kind of knowing to listen. And then under that is the Chariot. And I love that because you have like these two moons, and then the Chariot is Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. But it's like a waxing moon and a waning moon. And then you have like, anyway, the Chariot G's TFO before everything goes down. And it was intuitively levered. Leads to the Ten of Pennies. Cool. Love it. All right. I wanted to do. Oh, there was some. It's fine. King of Cups, King of Pentacles, Seven of Wands. This Seven of Wands feels like there's like big Noah's Ark energy, right? The divine told me that this was going to happen. And regardless of how long it takes to transpire, I told y'all. When it starts to rain, it's too late. The Seven of Wands is kind of like, it can be defending whatever believe into it to be true against other people. Could be, it's just like sticking to it. It could be you arguing with yourself, right? Especially if there's an amount of time that passes. All right, my intuition told me to do this, but like so far, nothing's happening. The tower is still standing. Everything is still going roughly the way it was going. Day by day by day by day, depending on your relationship with the divine and your intuition, it can get harder and harder and harder. So again, it's something that you have to defend yourself. But when that tower goes down, and when you've already Eight of Cups or Fooled or Seven of Swords or whatever your way out of that tower, oh, look, the Fool is at the top of the deck. Oh my gosh. Wow, imagine that. Yeah. And then the Nine of Cups at the cut. Cool. I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I don't remember. They're just like, I don't know. And now I'm like, I feel like old North Node in Sagittarius would have been like, I have opinions and I'm going to talk about it. The Seven of Swords is going to the Nine of Cups. And then there's the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles with the energized pentacle. The one that makes the Desert Library Art Gallery appear. We also saw this. It was the Seven of Swords, the High Priestess, and the King of Wands recently. It was the Five of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the High Priestess, the King of Wands, and another card. And it was that energy of like not engaging in, you could say, distractions, honestly. But this Seven of Swords has been connected to the High Priestess too a lot lately. And it's that, again, it's pulling out. It's like, no, And to some, it can seem whatever to whoever. You know what I mean? Like, especially if there is that, here's the Four of Cups. If, like, what is for you to do is for you to do. And as long as you don't have, like, literally people who are depending on you like children, I'm not going to be on here. Like, the cards are telling me to tell you to abandon your children and do whatever. Um, but, like, what is for you to do is for you to do. And if other people don't get it, it's not necessarily always for them to get. You know what I mean? And so somebody may feel like Seven of Swords because this or because of that. But, ooh, the beach, endless horizons, where land and sea meet. Cool. Love that. And then the prison, facility of confinement, freedom restricted. Oof. Endless horizons on one side, freedom restricted on the other. Um, anyway, and then the casino. This casino with the beach and the prison, it gives me, it's one of the cards in the Diceology. And the inspiration for that card in the Diceology deck was Spirited Away, Miyazaki, Spirited Away. And how, I mean, that was part of it. I feel like I've seen a few times. Um, it's the one, an inn that welcomes weary travelers, a hot tub that alleviates all of one's worries, a sly grin, or something like that. It's because, like, we can be on these journeys that are like whatever, or we can be on a difficult journey or in a pleasure seeking whatever. And so either way, we seek pleasure or comfort or something. But the comfort or the pleasure becomes like a prison. We stay there rather than continuing on a journey that is not over. And when we seek that, it's easy to be beguiled and misguided or misdirected or taken advantage of. High Priestess, King of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. But then there's like that Jiminy Cricket voice that's like, come on, Pinocchio, you can't stay on this island forever. You know, we got to keep moving. Anyway, I don't know. Like I was about to say, I feel like an old North Node in Sagittarius would have been like, this is what I've been noticing and I have opinions. But now I'm like, I don't know. Let's flip a coin. Heads if yes, tails if no. Hey, Bixby. Oh, wait. I got to make sure the volume is up so you can hear it first. It was. Bixby is quieter than Google, I think. Hey, Google. Flip a coin, please.
Sure. Here are the top search results.
Hey, Google. Flip a coin, please. You don't read the results anymore? It said tails, so it's like, no, it's fine. There are many, 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 many journeys. I will say, though, I haven't, I mean, what I've discovered astrology YouTube 2019, early 2019, because I got my birth chart done. I was following somebody on Snapchat who, there were a few people in my life who, when I went through my darkest night, when I came out of my darkest night and I started like meditating and connecting to self and all that stuff, I had noticed in my digital bubble that there were a few people who were, you could say, in similar places. Like my journey buddy, I wouldn't necessarily say she's in my digital bubble because we're like friends. You know what I mean? It's like and like the digital bubble is like people that I know primarily through social media. But she had gone through her darkest night and come out of it I think a few weeks before I did. And then there was someone else that I followed on Snapchat and somebody else that I followed who I started to notice. I guess like when I started finding the information, I started being able to pick up on what people were saying because before I would have just been clueless, right? Anyway. And he got me, the digital bubble got me into like Abraham Hicks. And then I told Majority Betty, or she told me, I don't remember. I think maybe we both discovered Abraham Hicks. I don't know. I don't remember anyway. And then from there was someone else who was like doing birth chart. Well, he wasn't doing birth chart readings at the time because he was just getting into astrology really himself. He was like, go to this website, they'll give you the chart. And then his advice was go to YouTube, look up the placements, see who you resonate with. And that's what got me started on astrology YouTube. And then astrology YouTube led me to tarot YouTube. So it's only been a few years, but it seems like every now and then there's some new trendy something. I came in late on the wave, on the heat wave, if you will. I feel like, I mean, anyway, I came in late to that, but it's like either this like really, really like good, like you are chosen 144,000, whatever, or it's like it feels like there's this like something bad. And again, I feel like I don't know, I'm definitely not as connected to everything as I used to be, not even the transits. But it's like I hear one person talking about a thing and I'm like, what? And then somebody else is talking about it. And now like everyone's talking about it. I'm just like, I don't know. It seems like there are either ways to artificially try to inflate one's ego, or there are new ways to give your power over to somebody else. And it's like that's the sort of dynamic. And then in the middle, in between that, is like the shadow work and stuff, and actually, like, self focused things more so than anyway. I'm just like, okay. Not to say that it's not happening, but ooh, girl, I thought this was. I don't know. This is just like I said. It was going to be a ramble. I said it was going to be a rant. I feel like it's because I haven't really been able to be on. You'll probably see me a lot more after next week, for a little bit at least. I don't know. Things are just unfolding in ways that I didn't necessarily expect. And I found things that I like really, really want. And I feel like part of my part of the healing that I am doing, I guess part of the trap, it's like more so than like the healing that I'm doing, it feels like the traps that I am consciously not falling into, old patterns, old habits, old behaviors. Um it's like not denying myself the things that I really want. Because for the upper majority of my life, that was the tendency. My heart would be like, I really, really, really want this, or I would like to pursue this, or engage with this, or see where this goes, or just experience whatever. And I'd be like, no. And so part of it is like allowing myself to want the things that I want and actively putting effort into however much effort, actively putting effort into positioning myself to receive those things or at least participate or whatever, rather than like the heart speaks and then I pull away. But again, it's not because there have been so many times opportunities within the past 6 years to do that. It isn't something. Oh, there we go. I'll be right back. I will be right back. I will be right back. I will be right back. I'm back. There was a pickup today. And, ooh, it's blue. Interesting. Anyway, because I've had so many opportunities over the past 5, 6 years, 6 years since the Darkest Night first trip to London, 5 years. No, that's the same. 6. Why was I thinking 5? I don't know. Last year was 5 years because I remember it was a big deal, like my fifth birthday. My fifth second birthday. But yeah, because there have been so many opportunities. But I feel like again, it's almost like that grand water trine between the North Node, Chiron, and the Sun. When I had that realization of like what my life could be if I did the work, thinking that it was too much at the time, thinking that I honestly legitimately thought I wouldn't choose. But I was also like fresh out of my darkest night. I hadn't built any muscles or known what muscles that I already have that atrophied because I didn't use them. And so I can understand why I would have been like, oh, no, bro, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. And if we look at our track record, when it comes to doing work, especially on time, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in if we did work. But again, it was like this moment of like, he doesn't even know he's going to do the work without, well, I'm not going to say without intending because 2019, so I guess just like a month and some change later, I would more actively choose to do anything and everything that I needed to do to not be in the same situation. So it wasn't really that long between when I was like, that's, I know I could have it if I do the work, but I don't know. That's a lot. I don't think I'm going to do it, to me being like, anything and everything I have to do, it's time to do. And then it's again, thanks in large part to my journey buddy. My journey has not been one that I've had to do alone. And I'm thankful for that. Because of that, it gives me a lens and perspective on journeying that I feel is different from a lot, or at least from some that I hear. Like my journey isn't one that I've had to do alone. There have been difficult relationships in my life that have like survived the journey. It wasn't, but again, like that was internal resonance. That was like almost the two of swords for me. It's like I know like this is happening. I know that's happening. I know it would be easier. I know it would be smoother at the present moment. I know that it's almost like I'm making my own journey more difficult sometimes by choosing these things, but it's never resonated within me to not go through the challenge, to make the easy choice, which would be to like quit or walk away or give up. And that's not to say that everything that I've encountered along this journey is, or everyone is still here with me today. But there have been, again, cases and instances where it's like, I know, and I feel like, again, it's because I had that conversation with my shadow. Um, because, again, it's just like because I journeyed my journey the way that I journeyed it, in a lot of ways that I was led and guided, that I wasn't externally, like, I wasn't externally prompted to do the upper majority of the things that I've done on my journey. It was the upper majority of it was internal. And again, I think for me, it actually helped to journey by myself with my journey buddy, but to journey offline before I went online and was exposed to so many different things. But I think also too, it's because I'm wired the way that I'm wired, even outside of the journey. Like as a person, the things that I care about that matter to me don't matter to a lot of people. And I'm not going to say the things that matter to a lot of people don't matter to me, but it's easier, I guess, for me to find a centered, balanced, calm perspective on things that would like upset some other people. And that's what I told the best friend that I'm staying with now. Like when we first met, I was like, I'm weird. I care about stuff that a lot of people don't care about. I really care about stuff that a lot of people don't. So there's probably going to be a situation where you think it's no big deal, but it's going to be a big deal to me. And I'll tell you, because he was like, "Oh, promise me you'll tell me," and I told him. And but if like I tell you and you dismiss me, anyway, it doesn't even have to go all the way there. It's just like there are things that I found internally, internal stimuli triggers for things more so than external ones. And I feel like there are so many times and ways that I can, especially now, where I'm like, oh, it's because like of this or it's because of that that I have the perspective and the stability within my foundation, the drive, the motivation, the self compassion, but also self, what's the word? Accountability to do these things, right? And so I feel like that's another reason why, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like this. I still haven't gone back to rewatch those self reads, but I honestly feel like I'm exiting this vacation interim period in between era, whatever, so much clearer and different than when I entered. Because when I entered, I really didn't know. I knew that I wanted to pursue something that I truly, genuinely want, but I didn't have a good idea of what that was. And I found it. I wouldn't necessarily call it something as grand as purpose. I just found what I desire. I found things that I want and paths that I want to take, from a very egoic, from a very 3D, from a very like, this is what I want for like me, you know? And of course, I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that anyone would, but ooh, shit. Floating escapades, exploring horizons. We went from the expanded horizons to now exploring those horizons. Whoa, on this yachty. Cool, love it. Floating escapade. There are several ships that I see right now. Houseboats are apparently like expensive. In the living room, comfort and relaxation. Um, yeah, I don't know. And it's been interesting. to say the least. Um, there are so many places in this deck, and I feel like I've seen the same about 15. So I'm glad to, every time I see a new card, I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to shuffle this. I'm going to cut it here. We're going to set it down. I'm not going to look at the bottom of the deck yet. I'm going to shuffle this. I'm going to pull before and after Dreamland. Ooh, the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. What? Cool. Love it. And I don't know. I've just been like I said, I've been in this like reflective, retrospective. It's like the anchor for the reflection and retrospection is, again, it's largely that like in the past, I knew that I could have this if I wanted it. The unspoken, I guess, or unconsciously thought or communicated thing, kind of mostly for the most part, was like all of the beliefs that I used to have, like before the darkest night, especially, it's more so. All the beliefs I used to have around like why I wouldn't or why I couldn't or why I shouldn't, and they're not there anymore. So I don't know. For me, I'm kind of. I mean, I feel like there's always something to love about people, transits. Ooh, but I don't know. You know what? We'll get a clean flip or a clean. Ooh. Oh, okay. Well, everything's probably not going to be all upright anymore because the cards did shift. First, the Hierophant came out, which is interesting. It's also interesting because I went to the Vatican last week. Oh, and it's number 5. I was, I don't know. I know that like there are things happening in the world, but also I'm not going to diminish or dismiss or not feel the joy that I feel. I feel like that's something this year that actually became a lot more important to me because I've made the decision to not consciously and intentionally turn away from the not great things that are happening in the world just because it makes me feel whatever it makes me feel. As someone who's not personally experiencing the things that are going, I don't necessarily have to take that luxury to deprive uh, anything of like attention, compassion, empathy, whatever, right? Because it makes me like, ew, no. But because of that, it's also been more important to like balance it out with like good things that are happening or with the goodness that lives within people. Um, and again, I know I've talked about it before, probably last year, but now, and like the last time I think I was live, like my social media, the people that on my social media, I primarily follow people that I know. But regardless, people that I know personally, how there's more and more and more and more of them that are not only capable of compassion, but that also like share and communicate that. You know what I mean? And it's been a saving grace for me. It's been a counter narrative, I feel like, to the opposite of that, which is the opposite of that. Why am I talking about that? Oh, because that's another reason why it was like it's become so important to me to have that healthy balance. And it also, again, like to see that there are people who aren't necessarily personally affected that also care. People who don't have to be personally affected or people who don't have to personally know somebody that have the capacity to like give a crap. And to like, put that out that like, hey, like I care, that it's become really important because again, it just like balances everything, right? So anyway, either way, regardless, it's not always about the things that again. Ooh, okay. So the Hierophant came out, right? Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say because it's number 5, and I've visited 5 countries this year. And again, I'm surprised I haven't cried. I don't think I've cried. But like me not crying now is different than the like not crying that I was doing earlier in the year. I'm counting Germany because we left the airport and explored the city for a little bit. This year I've been to India, Germany, the US. I live in the US. India, Germany, the UK, Rome, and the Vatican because technically the Vatican is its own country. And it's like number 5. And again, just like it's so interesting to me. Not only like because it happened, I never would have thought that I'd be someone who leaves the country because that wasn't necessarily my socioeconomic bracket growing up. You know what I mean? Um, I had friends and I knew people who like, oh yeah, we went on a family trip to Spain this summer or whatever. We went backpacking around Europe. It just like I never thought it would be my experience. And not only that, but like the reason why I traveled or the person that I'm traveling to see or traveling with is the best friend who's required the most compassion and patience and understanding from me. Like I have quite a few best friends, and with them, our friendships, our relationships are like easy peasy, smooth like butter. There's like no tension. It's just like this mutual appreciation. Now, also to be fair, there's like a whole cultural, like there are, you could say more differences just because we grew up in 2 completely different lands and the cultures and the sort of like societal, I don't want to say norms, but like there's culture that's actual like culture like cuisines, customs, festivals, holidays, stuff like that, but then there's also culture in terms of like what it's like to live in society there, like like you could say um with certain countries that are like more laid back, you could say that like a siesta is part of the culture. But also because of that, like part of the culture is that like, if it's open, it's open. If it's not, it's not. It's like it's no big deal. Right. You sort of like go with the flow, live in the moment. But again, like it's interesting that because I remember what 2019, no, I think 2021 he had already moved over here. No. Because I went to 2019, 2020 before everything happened. Oof. Before the Fire Nation attacked. There would be points and moments where I would just be like so frustrated with him because of whatever. And I remember there was a thought and there were words that were spoken or typed or whatever that was like, well, maybe it's like, maybe you've outgrown the friendship or maybe, whatever. And as again, like as frustrated as I was in those times, it never to me resonated as true. And it's actually because of this friend that I've grown in so many of the ways that I've grown that I appreciate. It's like when we first met, I didn't have, because of where I was in my journey in my life. We met before my darkest night. Um, my brain just like dumped everything. But because of where I was and who I was when we first met, I didn't have the capacity to receive a lot of the advice ish. Because a lot of his advice was like proactive, or he's very, especially then, he was very much so more of like the problem solver type of personality. And I was like, if I'm sharing my problems, I'm not necessarily asking for an immediate solution. I'm asking for like some empathy. You know what I mean? We don't necessarily have to go full pity party, but I just want you to hear me. I just want to express what I'm feeling without immediately like, oh well, why don't you do this and then you'll be better, or like, oh, you should do this. Um, and it's so interesting because I feel like now I have such a tendency to kind of sort of lean towards that problem solving, whatever. I don't know. I feel like, or maybe it's just because I am more problem solving than I used to be. I feel like I used to be completely like listening, empathy, and not so much like, well, like, here's what we can do to remedy the situation. And now that I'm a little bit more like, here's what we can do to remedy the situation so that tomorrow can be better than yesterday. I feel like I have like less of a just an empathizing ear to constantly be like, because eventually it's like, okay, well, at what point are we gonna do something to change things? Anyway, I have the capacity now, and as I've lived life on the other side of the darkest of darkness, I don't know why I don't know, it feels right for me in particular, the darkest of darkness. Um, Again, I just like within the past few years have just gained so much appreciation for like him and who he is and who he's been in my life, even before I was ready to receive. And also too, like because he met me, he's grown more. Oh, 1 + 9 = 10. Where are the swords? Um, Sorry. He's grown more like patient and empathic or empathetic. And again, like seeing him as he is now versus how he used to be, like we are both better. And again, it wasn't, especially in the beginning, it wasn't without challenge. Um, but it also wasn't without compassion and a desire to understand one another. And it also wasn't without I'll say a healthy level of communication. The communication style may not have always been the most whatever, because I feel like I'm like this needs to like if things breach a certain point, I'm like, okay, something needs to be said. And sometimes I feel like it would like kind of overwhelm him, honestly. Because I would be like, this is something that like in the beginning, it would be like something that he did that we talked about. And I'm like, we talked about this. I told you how this makes me feel or whatever, and you're still doing it. And he'd be like, and my brain, especially then when I'm upset, I don't keep track of everything consciously that upsets me or whatever. But when I get upset, it just like, it's right to the top of the list. You did this on this day, this on this other day, and at this other time you did that. And I told you at some point in there that I didn't like it, and you kept doing it, and now you're doing it again. And he was like, "Well, I'm not keeping track." I'm like, "I'm not keeping track either." Like I said, it wasn't necessarily always like, but two, I feel like he develop because of me and because of our ultimately like friendship beyond the personality and cultural differences. I think he learned how to validate different experiences and different viewpoints. Like even if something doesn't matter to me, if it matters to you and I care about you, then it matters to me because it matters to you. You know what I mean? So anyway, ultimately, it's interesting that all of this is happening because of that friend, because of the one who years ago I could have been like, I've outgrown this friendship, blah, 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 whatever, because of things that were apparently true, but not internally resonant. I could have been like, you know, like that's it. But again, like even when I feel like it's around like something about November's every something about the transition from like Scorpio season to Sagittarius season sometimes like F's me up. Or like late Scorpio into Sagittarius, it'll F me up. Because I remember there are a few Novembers where it was like, whoa. This was a good like this November again. It was I guess you could say it's it's there were so many things that are cycles that are already. And I guess because I'm thinking of 2024 being an 8 year and eights association with like karma and stuff like that. And it's almost like it's been a year of new karmic cycles or transitioning into new karmic cycles because other karmic cycles were already closed. And so maybe in reflection and retrospection, there's an acknowledgement of like, oh yeah, this is a karmic cycle that like I don't play in anymore. Like for example, like denying myself my heart's desires. Like that's not something that I do anymore. There are these other things that I don't actively choose anymore. And so because of that, I'm open to new cycles. And it's like it's been this transition. Anyway, the cards that came out with the Hierophant, it's the Ace of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and the Ten of Pentacles. 1 + 9 = 10. Wait. Ace of Wands, Nine of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, very much so. Under the Hierophant. I am a Taurus moon and rising. I'm an algo moon. It's not exact, but it's like within a degree and a half orb or something like that. I don't know. I've been wanting a bottle, and when I saw them, I was like, "Ooh, this is the one." It's empty now. I drank all the water. Um, Again, this whole experience has just been like interesting. I feel like there have been so many subtle, sometimes not so subtle cues that have almost like signified that like it's time or like something in the energy is palpable enough to like make this transition. And of course, I've like caught it at every step. I'm like, ooh, ooh. And I know that I'm like, it's fine. It's just like it's time to make things happen. And again, back in 2018, we'll see how things play out. I'll just say that. I'll say we'll see how things play out. And I try to think on like why I felt the way that I felt about some things back then. And I honestly like I don't know. Cuz I feel like there wasn't enough exposure or enough of anything for me to like logically arrive at why I felt the way that I felt. Besides, it was just like you could say, I don't even want to call it an intuitive knowing. But maybe again, it was just that Chiron, Sun, North Node. And maybe it's because the energy of the North Node that when the North Node in Cancer trined Chiron in Pisces, because the sun was in Scorpio, water signs. Um, It's almost like the North Node gave a perspective of Chiron after it's healed, or Scorpio, Chiron after it's transformed. After the wound of Chiron is healed and it's transformed, it was like this pre illumination, like this light in the far, far, far distance, this star that had shone or shone, shined in this sky in an area again where there was only at that point darkness. But at some point, as I've hurtled through the cosmos on this planet, the star has become a sun. Or you could say that the star, like as the distance between the star and the planet has closed, are other stars within the constellation that may not have been as bright as this brightest star that now come into the picture. So you can get whoever resonates, whatever, can get a clearer picture of the constellation that that star sort of lives in, rather than it being a lone star. Right? Shout out to Eve, Everlong Mystic, because Lone Star State, Texas. Anyway, I almost want to pull before and after the sun. No, it would be before and after judgment. This is 10, 10. Or I could do the before. 1 plus 9 equals 10, but 1 plus 9 plus 10 equals 20. There's no air here either, which is interesting because I feel like I've gone through periods, and I feel like it's also kind of relevant, like personally relevant. This year, as I've done self reads, I feel like there have been air heavy self reads, there have been pretty fiery self reads, but I feel like the earth and water, especially the water, I am a Pisces sun, has been kind of sort of like not coming up as much in the self reads and stuff. Excuse me. Interesting. So interesting. All right. Anyway, what I wanted to do was pull before and after Dreamland, and then I'll pull this. Like I shuffled the places, and I'll pull the same number as Dreamland in that deck to get a place associated with Dreamland. And I guess that's what we'll do. I'm pulling off the top. So Ace of Pentacles, Two of Cups, King of Swords. There's the air. Ace of Pentacles, Two of Cups, King of Swords. I'm interested what's after the King of Swords. Oops. Four of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. The Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is after the King of Swords. And the Ace of Cups, again, was the wisdom that the King of Swords grows into, or the wisdom that his knowledge matures into. The King of Swords is in between the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups. Love that. And then the Ace of Pentacles is here. Love that. Ace of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. Love it. Also, we have three aces. That happened last time too. Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups within the cards that fell out in the first four on the table. Cool. Okay. Interesting. So that is 4. Now I'm just going to count. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 10. Oh, hold up. So after that Ace of Cups is the Page of Pentacles, but then it's Strength, the Magician, the High Priestess, and the World. And then after that again is this Two of Swords. So between the Page of Pentacles and the Two of Swords, Strength, the Magician, the High Priestess, and the World. This was 10. I can't. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It may actually be easier to just pull until I find the dreamland and then count back. So that's what I'm going to do. And then that'll allow me the opportunity to marvel at whatever comes out in between. After the Two of Swords, Six of Swords, and the Emperor. I love Two of Swords, Six of Swords, Emperor, especially after this Strength, Magician, High Priestess in the World energy. Cool. Love it. Also, I feel like it's fine. Well, the Two of Swords and the Six of Swords is the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords came up in a read that I watched recently, and I heard the more some a meaning that's more aligned with like the traditional meaning. But for some reason, it was just like the paths unseen, right? The road unseen, and especially again going back 6 years ago with that Sun North Node Chiron trine of this star in the far off distance, the path unseen. Like I didn't think that I would end up doing the work. I didn't necessarily have faith in myself at that point because doing the work was brand spanking new. It was something that I had rarely done before. But I was like, I could have this. Like, this could be my life if I wanted it to be. It would just require a lot of work. Like that, it would require a lot of work. And I don't necessarily want to do it or think that I'm going to do it. Like, that was the Eight of Swords. But between the Two of Swords and the Six of Swords, like leading to the Emperor. So it's not always about, you could say it's rarely about, it's not always about knowing so far off or whatever. It's like making the right choice in the right moment. It's doing the things that you are intuitively led and guided to do when you are intuitively led and guided to do them. And then at some point, you just end up where you were always meant to go. You walk the path unseen, end up at the Emperor. So far, this is still mostly a self-read. It's already 11:30. Let me see what time lunch is today. I may have another hour. I may have 5 minutes. Let's see. Oh, I was like, wait. Ooh, it's fine. It's fine. Cool. This is like mostly self-read, but if it resonates for you or whatever, then whatever. Ooh. The Emperor, Justice, the Six of Wands. I mean, come on. Justice is behind that Emperor. Okay? Because of course it is. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I promise. The Seven of Swords. So after the Six of Wands, interesting because they both ride a white horse. Six of Wands and Death. The Six of Wands and Death, I feel like this could be an energy where it's basically like we learn our lessons or where we are transformed by them. You could say it's like ego transformation, right? But then it's the Seven of Swords, the Tower, and the Star. But the Seven of Swords is like leaving the Tower, which is again like that Eight of Cups, Ace of Swords, Six of Swords, Seven of Swords, Fool, Tower. It gets out of these towers before they sort of like fall, which is also interesting in and of itself. Because you could say that because of the primary circumstance situation that transpired 6 years ago and subsequent circumstances and situations, that there was what some may perceive as a tower moment that I was MIA for. Anyway. And then the star is like immediately thereafter the tower with the Queen of Cups and the star. Because so from the minor high priestess of the Two of Swords, which is wherever she was, I feel like I just saw her. Yeah, from the minor high priestess of the Two of Swords, again, the path unseen to reach the Emperor Justice, the Six of Wands and Death, to now being able to like look back with the pre-high priestess and sort of see, or to be on the other side of that star. The Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Swords, there's the last ace, and the Five of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, Empress, Seven of Cups, Queen of Wands, Three of Swords, the Lover, the Eight of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, the Two of Wands, the Four of Swords, Eight of Swords, Temperance, King of Pentacles, Seven of Wands. Oops, just trying to not have these slide all over the place. Eight of Wands, Judgment, Three of Cups, Ten of Wands, the Hanged Man, Page of Swords, Two of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Three of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Five of Wands, Three of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Queen of Swords, King of Wands, the Moon, the King of Cups, the Chariot, Eight of Cups, Nine of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, Hermit, Five of Swords, Dreamland, and the Four of Wands. Dreamland is in between the Five of Swords and the Four of Wands, and the Hermit is before the Five of Swords, and just for completion's sake, the Page of Wands is behind the Four of Wands. Cool. It feels like the Page of Wands has taken the wand that was presented with the Ace of Wands, Nine of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, 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 cool. Let's do it this way. Oh, I gotta count these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. It was the 60th card. And I think there's like 80 places, maybe. That was like in there. Sure. 1, 2, no. It takes too long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. The workplace. Hub of productivity, ambition, and collaboration. Is that a sign? Hotel, sweet retreat, heartwarming hospitality is before the workplace, and gas station, essential pit stop, take a break, refuel. Take a break and refuel after the workplace. Cool. Is that like a dream job? Which is interesting. Work has, I think I mentioned it before, but I've kind of come full circle on work, or at least on what I desire for work. And it's largely in part due to where I am now. And the scale of relative perfection, I am completely unaware of, but comparative better is there. Like I'd rather be in like this market than another one. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess I'm doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold up. Did I count this right? Because I got 60 cards right here, and I pulled that one. I should have 59, right? Because I pulled the 60th card. I didn't know if I had like skipped a number or something. That's why I counted the cards back through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's the 61st card. So hotel would have been the 60th card if this is the 61st card. And whatever hotel said, I don't remember. I am going to flip the top one of these. So the zoo, wildlife sanctuary, behaviors observed, kind of sort of like the places that got to this place of productivity and collaboration. The zoo, behaviors observed. So first, I had to observe my own behaviors. Second, the lake, reflective shores, tranquility awaits. After observing my own behaviors, I had to bring an element of tranquility to to self or to the observation to because the purpose of observing one's own behavior, my own behaviors, wasn't to guilt, shame, blame, or make myself feel bad about the choices and decision I was not making. But it was kind of like just like a wildlife observation to just like note any patterns, you know, I guess. Um, tranquility awaits is also like not necessarily. I'm trying to think. I feel like early in my journey, there wasn't necessarily a vision of where I would be in the future. It was more so the tranquility was like how depressed I wasn't, regardless of my situation in life. And like that's one of the first things I kind of noticed because I would reach out to people or when I would talk to people, they'd be like, "How are you?" And I'd be like, surprisingly not depressed. Especially like early 2019. Early 2019, I had bombed for the most part, bombed the previous semester. I was slated to graduate. I didn't graduate. I was unemployed. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. Get into February, March, was hungry because I was unemployed and didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. Like life objectively was kind of bad, but mentally I was the best I had ever been because I was actively working through all of those things that being employed or enrolled made me too busy to like address. Right. And that was a thing because I had told someone, I was like, when I'm in school, I'm too busy with coursework. And over the summers, I'm too busy with work that I never have the time to really focus on and address the things that I need to mentally. And so when the unemployment blues really started hitting, And I was like, maybe I should like get a job or do this. It was that like, but remember what you said. Like every time you're enrolled or employed, you're too busy to focus on the things that you know you need to focus on for your own mental health and well-being and for your greater overall success. And so that tranquility in that was like, again, at the beginning, it was surprising. I was like, I've been depressed for less. Next is social media, digital networking, global interactions. I guess this would be the point where I got on YouTube. Um, and I discovered the realm of YouTube, the quote unquote spiritual community, I guess, if you will, where I started to meet some people and I started to see some things and experience some things. I think also, too, that was the point of not only like networking and interacting externally, but also like internally. Um, which again, like with the observation and tranquility, like not observing myself to pick myself apart, but just like to be real with myself and to start introducing some accountability because I want something different. So I got to do something different. Um, and in that, there were a lot of like pieces and parts of me that, because of situations or whatever that had transpired in the past, had felt some type of way, things that I was still holding on to, that after I began my journey, my healing, I didn't need to hang on to those things as a source of strength anymore. And so there were opportunities that I didn't predict, foresee, to like address those and just like let it go, right? To not keep certain parts and pieces of myself in pain or in trauma to make me strong when I didn't need that anymore. But it was also to like thank those parts of me for holding the line until I was strong enough that they could be discharged or dismissed or whatever. I think also too that was the point of um from the like healing journey work, internal structure, whatever, in isolation to like reintegrating with the world. So from January to basically April, I was primarily like alone on my own. And then May to August, I worked on campus over the summer. So that was like my reintroduction, reintegration into the world. And then, like, the school year, academic year started. I was starting to become more active by that point in certain like spaces, communities on the YouTubes. Then came like a greater integration with like people. And I remember, I remember talking to my journey buddy about some stuff, and she'd be like Patrick, like you already know this, like you've already gone through this, like you already experienced, like you already know what to do. And again, it's because I had done so much in isolation or outside of engaging with the world to like going into the world. It was like an adjustment period. And thank God for journey buddies, because I probably would have could have spiraled a lot more if she wasn't like, you already like know this. I was like, oh, you're right, I do. Next is living room, heart of the home, comfort and relaxation. I feel like honestly, for me, this speaks to a lot of that internal stuff. So after the reintegration, I made integration my word, or integration was the word of the year for me for 2020. Because in 2019, again, there were the things that I experienced, journeyed to, healed in isolation that were still like fragile or challenged in real life, integrated into society. And there was that, like, you already know this. And I was like, okay, well, I want to go like beyond just knowing this. I want to like actually integrate what I'm learning from my lessons so that I can continue to like grow and evolve and change. so that I can, like, be different. I don't want to have to keep experiencing the same lessons over and over and over. I don't believe that the journey has to be a spiral, especially in the sense of me experiencing the same sort of situation, having the same dark night, coming out of like dark night after dark night after dark night for things that I've already been like, I'm over that. I had enough of it in those few months of reintegrating. I was like, we're making integration the word for 2020. And I feel like that was part of that, but also at the same time, that's when like other things sort of began to expand within me. And I guess in my journey after the reintegration with the greater world community around me was a deepening of the foundation within me. And that's kind of what this living room is giving me. And then there's home, personal sanctuary, security, and belonging. I feel like that is what again, coming off of the living room, um, heart of the home, and then the home, personal sanctuary. I had built up and established pretty well that personal sanctuary um, before it was time for me to begin expansion. And it's interesting because I feel like there was a time where that personal sanctuary like got me through a lot of stuff. And I kind of went through another version of that, like you already know this in a way, but in a way not. Um, I feel like at first it was so there was the internal foundation that was established, and then there was the integration into the external world. And as I did that integration, the deepening of the internal foundation, it was like I was living in the world in ways that I was previously living. So it was like bringing the healing and the healing and the growth and the lessons learned to the life that I had lived before. But after the foundation deepened and I got like really, really solid within self, then it was like from yesterday to tomorrow. Then it was like I'm in situations that I've never been in before. I'm experiencing things that I've never experienced, or I'm experiencing things that I never thought that I would have experienced because I would have made the self sabotaging choices and decisions to keep myself from having these experiences, especially the scarier ones. I would have run away at the thought of being positioned in a scary situation and then basically being strongly encouraged to show up. I was like, whoa, and so a lot of the personal sanctuary that I had like built and established, it was still there, but it wasn't utilized as much, if that makes sense. Like I had developed healthy habits and then I went into a stressful situation. And in the stress of the situation, I forgot all of these things that I discovered were like healthy for me type of energy, right? And then we have the doctor's office, health consultations, and trusted advice. This trusted advice, especially, this is where like I had the capacity to honor all of the things that the best friend that I'm staying with had like told me in the past. Like, this is the part where I really started to appreciate all of that stuff. And again, like this was beyond the darkest darkness. So when I was before my darkest night or when I was still there, like all of these like hopeful, promising, like, well, it's gonna get better or in the future, blah, blah, blah. Like it didn't help me because I was committed to staying in the dark. Right. I didn't think that I would survive. And I did myself no favors in um, challenging that theory. But this, again, the health consultations, trusted advice, this is where, after growing into things that, again, growing in, de- maturing, growing, developing after a lot of the active healing was sort of done, when it's more about like, you could say embodying, but like actively making choices and decisions in situations both familiar and strange that align with what it is that I ultimately desired, or didn't that weren't dictated and ruled by the fear of this or that happening or something going wrong. um, that's when a lot of the like, I had been challenged unwillingly to like, well, let me challenge myself to, you know. Anyway, and then we end up at the workplace. Ambition, collaboration, the hub of productivity. So within 6 places, that's how I went from the Five of Swords to the Four of Wands. Um, but yeah, and again, like part of life after the doctor's office is, and again, like this going back to the zoo and the observations. This was card number 60. There are 6 piles, and it's been 6 years since 2018. Oh my gosh, it's been 6 years since my first trip. It's been 6 years since my darkest night. And there are 6 cards here, and I've just like kind of walked you through the whole process, right? Through the cards. Oh my gosh, imagine that. I'm trying to like put my elbow down, and the chair is too far. um, but yeah, and that's why it's been like this re-observation now from a healthier perspective. And again, now I'm not so quick to deny myself my heart's desires. I'm not so quick to give up before I even try. I'm not so quick to a lot of stuff. And so now I can be both, I can allow myself to be both ambitious, and I feel like I'm still working towards that place of like more openly collaborating. But I've also found spaces where I can. And it's not necessarily collaborating in a way of like business or work. It's more so collaborating in terms of like just something as simple as like experiences, right? Like if I like being present rather than just like being there, right? So cool. Love it. What's at the bottom of this deck? Golf course, groomed landscape, quiet focus. It's interesting how this almost sort of mirrors the Four of Cups. It's like in this quiet focus of the golf course, it's like honing in on these things, these aces of cups that are being presented by the divine in a way, in order to like not miss them. Cool. Maybe I'll go live tomorrow and do new moon tings. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do it now. Let's see. I mean, it's not lunchtime yet. I have at most maybe like a few minutes. I feel like at most maybe like half an hour. Um, the mountains and the alleyways, the mountains and alleyway. That is giving me the energy of the alchemy of the mountain pass, getting to the heart of the mountain rather than trying to ascend or descend the mountain. It's getting to the heart of the situation, which is again, like that was the point. That was my intention with a lot of the stuff that I did. I was like, let's get to the heart of the matter, because I can't keep being a semester away from graduation and freaking out about life outside of Purdue that I never crossed that finish line, you know? And surprise, surprise, I got a degree. What? What? Yeah, it actually happened. But again, I feel like what has served me the most, what served me the most is my internal relationship with the many facets and aspects of me. And what's been the biggest boon is the people in my life. Again, my journey was not one of solitude or isolation, or my journey wasn't one that was lonely, that like there was no one who was there and I outgrew everybody because I'm so whatever. Obviously, it's not everyone's experience, and I'm glad it wasn't mine because, but I feel like I've never had a shortage of supportive, loving people in my life. Um, which I acknowledge that I'm like very blessed to have experienced. What held me back for most of my life is me, and it was my own internal mental trappings. Um, so anyway, the beauty salon and the prison. Oof, cool. All right. And again, the Page of Wands now takes up that wand. The Ace of Wands. To make one's dreams a reality. Death and the Hermit. Scorpio and Virgo do trine. All right, so just real quick, and a few cards. I don't know, maybe that's it. Let's just get that was up until now. I'm gonna do the same thing, but pull before and after the High Priestess because she knows the future, and I'm curious. I'm gonna look from the bottom of the deck though. Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Maybe I should have went from the top. Ooh, the King of Wands and Queen of Swords are looking at each other. Still in between the Magician and the World. The Five of Wands is on the other side of the Magician now. It was what, Strength before? So between the Five of Wands and the Two of Swords. This is interesting. I feel like this provides context and on a personal read that I got recently. On the side of the Magician is the Five of Wands, which you could say is like trying to make something happen, versus the Two of Swords and the World. So, especially around the High Priestess, almost going back to that energy of the different type of creation, the creation that didn't require destruction, maybe because there's already a blank canvas or there's already room to create. The space for creation has already been designated. It is, again, with the context of the Five of Wands and the Two of Swords, it's about finding intuitively or very subtly what already is rather than trying to create something new. there's something that already exists in the world and doesn't need to be created. But maybe, I mean, and it is the high priestess, so maybe it's like kind of hidden or whatever. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 59. 59, and it was just number 60. LOL. Cool. Love it. Love it. From the bottom, we have the countryside, peaceful farmland, horizons widened. I love that because first it was something, and then exploring the horizons, and now the horizons have been like widened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So the 59th card here is field. Growths, open expanse, life breathes. Love that. Cool. Perfect. Sweet. We have the party, joyful celebrations, memories to be made, the aquarium, underwater world, mesmerizing discoveries, the forest, nature's playground, escape the mundane, and it leads to the field. I do love that energy of like escape the mundane and it leads to like this open field. Also, I did mention how, and under the forest is the workplace. Now sitting at 58 rather than 60, no, 57. And then, so the workplace is in between the garden and the forest and the field. It's all like so naturey. It's so naturey. But again, it's interesting that we have the aquarium water and then the field, the forest is earth, because in a lot of the self reads, like I said lately, the heavier earth and water components that comprise me, um, have been a little bit more absent, which maybe is just to say that it's been time to give attention to the other parts of me. You know what I mean? Cool. Love it. I feel like that was whatever it was. I mean, growth's open expanse, life breathes. So again, with the world and the Two of Swords, it's more about living, finding, discovering than it is like creating or manifesting even. Like everything has already been, maybe that's another reason why it's a maybe that's another like reason why that creation energy felt kind of different, is because whatever it is has already been created. It's already been manifested. Bus stop, waiting zone, patience. Temperance was with some card. I feel like it was a card of interest. Where's Temperance? I know I saw it. Temperance was after Dreamland. Temperance is in between Dreamland and the Eight of Swords. Temperance being in between Dreamland and the Eight of Swords is a promised land type energy. A land that was promised, not yet seen or experienced, but promised. And then it's like, oh my gosh, Eureka, you find it. It's already been created, it's already been manifested, it's already out in the world, almost like growing its own legs, adapting itself, acclimatizing. Bottom of the deck, post office, messages to arrive. Patience and messages to arrive. Okay. And then the zoo again. Cool. There were so many places that we haven't seen yet. Love it. All right. So I guess today will not be New Moon Sagittarius. It ended up being a self-read, like I kind of sort of thought. I almost titled this self-read, honestly. And yeah. So like I said, but that's something that I was already growing retro. I guess before I got really reflective and retrospective, first it was like this desire to, like, my heart's desire becoming known to me, or at least for right now, right? What my heart most wants right now. And I think because I wasn't fighting it and because I am trying to find ways to make it happen, that's where the reflection kicked in. Because 6 years ago, well, prior to 6 years ago, prior to my first visit, I wasn't that person. I actively fought my heart's desires. And so maybe it was just my heart like, oh my gosh, remember when you used to like not like listen to me? Remember when you used to actively work against me to make yourself miserable? Remember when you used to do that? I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I do. Wow. That was a whole lifetime ago. The Chariot and the Page of Wands. Not only is the Page of Wands holding that wand, it is driving something forward. Come on. Vroom, vroom, choo, choo. I don't know. I would make a screeching, squealing noise like we were on the Northern Line last night, and there was like one turn or something. I was like trying to talk to my friend who was literally right in front of me, and he couldn't even hear me. I was like, my ears. Knight of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Love it. As I'm looking at it, as it faces me, the Nine of Pentacles is heading towards the King of Cups. Cool. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. I'm going to get a place first. Give me a place, please. Kitchen and the bank. A food bank? I actually did see a food bank one day. I was on the way home from lunch and I saw it on the side. I was like, oh, cool. All right. We got a lot of places that are like sticking out. And then there's the clean fall is the airport. Departures and arrivals, adventures await. Is this my confirmation? Please, I am ready to take that adventure. Please and thank you. I was just telling my friend's brother-in-law, because he was saying something about kids. And I was like, there haven't been any screaming babies on the plane. This time I've come, like, I've been on 1, 2, 3 flights so far. The flight here and then the flight to and from Rome. And there haven't been like any screaming babies on any of them. And he was like, what? But I had a dream the night before last that there was a screaming baby, screaming toddler in a bathroom. And then I picked him up and he's like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "No." And then I'm like, "I'm just trying to figure out what's wrong with you. Why are you in here just like screaming?" And he's like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, no. And so I just put him back down. And after a minute, he started screaming again. I was like, okay, it's somebody else's baby. Let them. I don't know where your parents are. I don't know why you're in here screaming. Like, I assumed that he was screaming because he was just like in the bathroom alone. Anyway, we went from ships to airports too. Bottom of the deck is sorry. This is a card that I saw when I was flipping through that I got really excited about. I mentioned it the last time I saw it, but now it's at the bottom of the deck, girl. The bottom of the deck is spiritual realm, dimensions of the divine, cosmic energy unveiled. Cosmic energy unveiled, adventures await, the airport of the spiritual realm awaits. Love it. Cool. Don't know what it means. Dimensions of the divine, departures and arrivals. Cool. Awesome. Maybe that's the divine, like, yeah, girl, you earned this one. You know what? Take it. I'm like, please, thank you. Okay. All right. The Knight of Pentacles is still on the bottom over here. Final card over here, please. Oh, Seven of Cups. Eight of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck. It's still the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Seven of Cups in reverse. Eight of Pentacles upright. Seven of Cups in reverse. Eight of Pentacles upright. Low-hanging fruit is an energy of like not seeking the easy way out. Or it's to continue along a certain path and not be distracted by new sort of like options. Or again, it could be that energy of like to double down and to continue the work. It's not about seeking alternatives. Ooh, Dreamland came out and the Lover is at the bottom of the deck. Love it. Seven of Cups in reverse, Eight of Pentacles upright, and the Dreamland. Dreamland with the airport of the spiritual realm could be something transiting from the realm of dream desire, manifestation to real life, especially with the Eight of Pentacles. And with the Lover at the bottom of the deck, it's like a hard-earned reward type energy. Cool. Love it. Love it. So maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe I'll be back Thursday. Maybe I won't be. You know, I feel like I don't know. And then the star at the cut. Oh, Dreamland and the star, wishes fulfilled. Dreams, the star, and Dreamland. Cool. Yeah. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Maybe I will. We'll see. I guess that's it. I feel like that's everything. Yeah, that's everything. So I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and what you find. And I don't know, for some reason, I've said it before and it's kind of resurfaced or came back to my mind and I want to say it, share it again. Or maybe not. Maybe it's not relevant to anything, and I won't go on some tangent at the end of the video that's going to take away from what already was. Let's see. We'll ask Bixby. If Bixby says heads, then yes. It tells then no. Hey, Bixby. Flip a coin.
All right, here comes the flip. Tails it is.
Nope. All right. Yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Bye. I don't know if chatless lives are the vibe this Sagittarius season. Maybe it's because Mercury's in retrograde. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be the vibe next time. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. Who knows?